Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie, and I just wanted to update you with a few developments in the Rachel Morin case. Rachel Morin was a 37-year-old mother of 5 children who went missing on a nature trail in Maryland, in the USA. Over a month ago now, wasn't it? It was quite a long time ago now, maybe 2 months ago, that she actually went missing and unfortunately was found murdered along that trail. It was actually unfortunately found that she had been pulled off the trail, looked like she'd been dragged off the trail to a more secluded place. And anyway, no details have been given yet of how she died, or whether it were, whether it was an attack that was motivated by sex, though it looks like it probably was, because she was naked. But anyway, we don't know. We don't know any details. Then the police gave details to say that the DNA that was on Rachel was matched to a home invasion right across the other side of the country a couple of months before in Los Angeles, which is, couldn't get much further away from Maryland. So, which Maryland is nearer to Florida, isn't it? So anyway, that was all that we knew. And they did say originally that this DNA was taken from a home invasion, and it was a young girl. Anyway, and they showed us a door cam footage of the suspect leaving the property. Anyway, so now they originally didn't, as I say, said that this attack, the original attack, was on a young girl, a minor, they said, but we again didn't give any details. So we now have some more details. They still haven't caught the perpetrator. I think all of us thought that once the DNA was matched and this door cam was released, because it's very clear picture. Although you don't see him face on, you do see quite a lot of his face, the profile anyway. And he does look quite distinctive, and it seems strange to think that he hasn't been identified yet. But they think he's Hispanic. And there was some conjecture that this might be the reason, because maybe Spanish-speaking communities hadn't heard so much about it. So there's been a big increase in, disseminating information to Hispanic communities that might know a little bit more. And all information is made in English and in Spanish. And also now the reward for information leading to the capture of this person has been increased from $10,000 to $20,000. So what we're just going to look at now is the sheriff of Maryland, what he's got to say about it, because he is releasing some new information that we didn't know before.
Invasion assault case. They are not saying if that person
right back to the beginning of
tonight.
The video.
We can exclusively report that detectives have identified and spoken to the man that arm belongs to. Again, that is a big development, considering we knew nothing about who that arm belonged to. We can.
Yeah, we didn't know it belonged to the guy that's just left that. From that door, that is the perpetrator, or that's where the DNA has been matched to, and then all we'd seen was this arm from the door, and people had assumed it was the girl that he was supposedly had attacked, though they said it wasn't an sex attack, it was an assault, but they didn't go into any details, let's say. So let's just see go back a little bit, so that you can see the guy actually coming out, because he is the guy they're looking for. The guy that comes out of the door is the guy that they're looking for.
And spoken to the man that arm belongs to. Again, That is a big development considering we knew nothing about who that arm belonged to. We can also confirm that the reason detectives went to Chicago, we now know they went to Chicago to interview a person connected to the same home invasion assault case. They are not saying if that person was a suspect, just connected.
It's very mysterious, isn't it? Because they say it's a home invasion assault case. But, you know, he leaves there so calmly. Doesn't look like there's been a home invasion or an assault. It's very mysterious.
They're not saying if the person they went to Chicago to interview is the person whose arm that is. We're going to try to get to the bottom of it with the sheriff in just a second. Also tonight, Rachel Morin's family is far from backing down on their fight for answers and justice. I mean, can you blame them? It's so awful. The family and their attorney have now given us permission to announce exclusively on the show that they are doubling the reward from $10,000 to $20,000 for information leading to a conviction.
Yeah, now, is this the family that's offering this reward? I'm not sure if it's the family or the police, but the reward is now $20,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. And, you know, money does talk.
Of the person responsible for Rachel's murder. We can also report the Spanish language digital campaign the Morin family launched last week has reached over 81,000 people as of this morning. More than 30 ads were posted online in Spanish with the suspect photo after investigators said that they believe the suspect is Hispanic, and that is helping. There are new
and credit to News Nation, who is a very good news channel. I like this news channel. This is Banfield, I think this guy's name. So hope you won't mind me using their video, fair use, etc. But, you know, you never know. But I just wanted to give them a mention there because that helps if you do get
tips coming in because the family did that. It feels like all this work is finally getting us closer to a killer. Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor is joining me live now. Sheriff,
so this is the Sheriff, Jeff Gaylor. I quite like him. He's a very calm person. But, yeah, let's see what he has to say, because he did give some, maybe he didn't know the full details in the beginning, because I think it was thought that that was a girl that was closing the door to that guy. But let's see what he's got to say.
Amazing work. I knew you guys were going to start making progress on this. We knew we just had to wait. I first want to ask you about that arm, because I noticed the arm from the beginning. What can you tell us about who that person is, how you were able to identify that person?
Sure, Brian. And again, thanks for having us on tonight. And again, the opportunity to send this message. We're still looking for this suspect, and any opportunity we have.
You know, he's always so polite and courteous. Thanks, you know, for giving us the opportunity. Not like, oh, fuck off, you public. And sorry, oh God, I swore. Sorry, I might edit that out, or maybe I won't. So sorry. You know, this is can't say it's my New Year's resolution. I'm going to try my hardest not to swear on videos.
Have to go national and share this, because we don't know where this guy's laying his head at night. You know, we need people to look at that video, look at that picture, and help us identify him. But indeed, you know, from the beginning, when we had the video, a lot of questions came in about who's closing the door, whose arm is that? And I actually misspoke. I believed it was a female's arm who was in the victim of the assault there.
So he openly admits he misspoke. That, again, he's not defensive about it. He's just saying that's it. He misspoke. He thought it was a female's arm. So at least he's owning up to what he said. It did look like a female's arm. You know, it doesn't look like a Muslim, or maybe we just can't see enough of it. But he obviously knows more than we do. But even he doesn't know everything about everything. I still cannot believe this guy has not been caught yet, because you just, from that footage that we've got of him, somebody knows who that guy is. And like Jeff says, where's he laying his head at night? Where is he sleeping at night? Or is he sleeping in like tents, or, you know, is he in the forces, or is he a trucker sleeping in his lorry and his truck? Where is he? Where is the CCTV of him around and about the areas? Of course, we don't know. You know, they may have some CCTV of him. They may have some CCTV of him in Maryland. You know, because after this, he travelled, you know, right over the other side of the country at some point to murder Rachel, so there must be, I expect they'll be ploughing their way through. Could it be a big job, ploughing their way through garage? Because presuming that he went in a car, he could have flown over there, but would he have wanted to show his ID? Do you have, maybe any of my subscribers out there who are American, if you do an internal flight in America, do you have to show your passport? Because I don't actually, I presume, and the same with the UK, to be honest, because I don't think I've ever done an internal UK flight. I've done an internal, oh no, I haven't done an internal Spanish flight. I've gone from Valencia to Portugal, which of course are two different countries. So yeah, do you have to show ID when you're doing internal flights? I'm not sure.
It's actually a male's arm, and investigators had it right. I just had it wrong in one of the earlier interviews. But it is a male's arm, and when our investigators were in Los Angeles, they interviewed many people in reference to what happened out there and tied back to our case. And we were able to speak to that individual as well. And he is not in any way tied to the case as a suspect at all. But he also was not able to provide us an identity of that suspect.
So he's not involved in the case in any, sorry, you can probably hear my dog drinking water. Yeah, you're not exactly a lady, are you? He's not involved in the case in any way, shape or form, they say. But so they have identified the person and have spoken to them.
So was there a female victim and also a male victim in the assault?
The male subject was not assaulted. But there were other people in the residence. And again, I have to be very careful on what I speak about. Los Angeles is still investigating that home invasion, that assault that occurred out there. And that's an open case for that agency. And just as I wouldn't want them to, be speaking out of turn or incorrectly about our case, I have to be careful and how far I go with what I say. But
yeah, it's very mysterious, isn't it? So he's saying, yeah, there were other people in that home, but the male was not assaulted. So we are left to speculate, but you've got to appreciate what he's saying. So what he's saying is the Los Angeles police are investigating that case. They're in Los Angeles, and they are investigating the Maryland case, and they've both, I suppose, got to be careful of treading on each other's toes at the same time as working together. So very tricky.
I have spoken to that person, and with hopes that he might be able to lead us to an identity to match the person in the video. That was not fruitful at this point in time so far.
It's interesting the way he closes the door. It almost looks so calm. And I know you have to be careful what you say, and we don't want to do anything to impede the investigation here. But I mean, did he know the person? Was he able to give you more information about who this person is?
No, he did not know him.
He did not know him. Mind you, they said it was a home invasion, so I suppose a home invasion would indicate they didn't know him. But as Banfield says, it was very calm the way he closed the door. It wasn't like, pushing him out the door and, F off or what. I mean, we had no sound, of course. He might have been telling him to F off. But, and why did he have his shirt off? I think that's, it's like he's been comfortable in there. He had his shirt off, didn't he?
At least that's what our investigators have found out so far. That the people in the residence did not know the person who had committed the home invasion and the assault there. But thankfully, they were able to preserve this video evidence, or else, because this happened sometime before our case, way back earlier in the year. And thankfully, without this video, we wouldn't have this image of our suspect, who again is tied back to our homicide here in Harford County, Maryland, because of the DNA.
Do you know how many people were in the house, Sheriff?
I do, but again, it's more than just the two, but I'm not going to go into.
And more than just the two people in the house. I did hear somewhere it was a party. But I have absolutely, it's a real mystery.
A great detail on something that's not our investigation.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just hoping that if there were more people, hopefully that means more people that you can talk to who can give you a better idea of what exactly, we see the side profile, but maybe they can give more info on, what his actual face looks like and maybe push things forward that way, hopefully. I want to ask you number 2 about...
See, even with the side profiles, but there's one point, let's see if I get, there's one point with the side profile.
Push things forward that way, hopefully. I want to ask...
You can see him so clearly there. Surely someone is going to, you know, very distinctive nose, haircut, very distinctive shoulders. Surely somebody's going to know this guy is.
Number 2 about this other development that we've learned about, that you actually went out, or one of your investigators actually went out to Chicago as part of this investigation. What can you tell us about that, Sheriff?
Sure. Information that we learned, our investigators learned out in Los Angeles, led us to another interview that we wanted to do in Chicago. And we wanted to do that in person, you know, cold, without the person that we were coming, not of a suspect. He is not a suspect in any way. But we still wanted to interview that individual cold and try to get facts from him. And I have to say that, you know, that, again, that person, we spoke to him. He is not a suspect, but he also was not able to help us identify that person.
Okay, well, I can...
He's like a ghost, this man, isn't he? He's like a ghost. You know, everybody's seen him, but nobody knows who he is. You know, what is this man?
I can just hope that all of these little developments are helping us push closer to finding this man who killed Rachel Morin, because that's what we all want, Sheriff. I mean, that's what everybody wants.
100%. We share that desire. Our investigators have worked this case aggressively since August 5th, you know, since August 6th, when her body was discovered here along the hiking trail. And we're far, well, we're never going to give up, but we're far from exhausting leads that we are currently working. So there's a lot.
So I think what this poor guy is trying to say, we've got hundreds of leads and we're just working our way through them. I wonder what their sort of budget is. I wonder what their, I mean, surely, you know, because I know people say, oh, high profile cases because she's blonde, or I don't think that's true. I mean, at the end of the day, they caught the other lady that unfortunately was attacked and murdered on a black Miriam, who was Sudanese, I think, and, you know, a woman of color. They caught her killer quite quickly. So, you know, it's not that they're only pursuing Rachel's killer, you know, and they didn't pursue Miriam's killer. Mariam's killer is in prison, you know, awaiting trial, I suppose. Now, so what is it? So then, you know, I think they'd be very keen to catch this guy because there's suspicions that he might be a serial killer because of the distance of one place away from the other. So at some point he's gone across the whole country, you know, to do this. So is it, they tend to think that he lives somewhere in the Los Angeles area and he traveled to Maryland to commit that crime. But yeah, you see, the thing is, they'll be under a lot of pressure to catch this guy because Rachel literally was walking on a walking trail that's still open, that people are still walking on. And that's not the only walking trail, is it, in the USA or anywhere in the world? That could be anyone, you know, just going for a walk in the evening. Same as Miriam. Something's got to be done about this because, you know, that why are women captives that they can't go out in the evening, you know, early evening? I think it's around about 6 o'clock for both of the cases of Miriam and Rachel. Why can't you go out for a walk on a nature trail at that time without thinking something terrible is going to happen to you?
A lot, and as you touched on, the family is working cooperatively with our investigators, you know, letting us know what they're doing. I learned today that they were going to up the reward. Again, I've said if money is the motivator that has somebody turn this person in, then great. There's no amount that's too great to bring this guy to justice and put him behind bars.
Yeah, and money does motivate people. I mean, we know that. We've seen that on this show. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, but it does. So hopefully doubling the reward, that will hopefully help. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll stay in touch with you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to...
So, there you go. Now, yeah, so I just wanted to give you that little update. There was something else that was quite interesting that I thought you might like to see, which is also on YouTube, but this was the family. So that was the sheriff. Gosh, my what's going on here? Right, so now the family have spoken as well, Rachel's family. And the father of one of her children, I think he was her husband. They were together 19 years. He has spoken, so on News Nation also, I think to Banfield also. Let me just find it. This is recently, literally within the last couple of days. Let's see, was that it? Oh, I've already seen that one. News Nation YouTube, and it was her sister talking. Yeah, this was literally a couple of days ago. Let's see. Is this it? Right, here we go. Here we go. So we're going to have a look at this. Sorry, hang on a sec. Let me just share it.
The mother of
let me just put it back to the beginning.
With you, because we haven't spoken with you before. I'm very, very sorry for your loss. I know that for you personally, you have this very personal feeling that you have to get out there and help find this guy.
Yes, absolutely. Not just because Rachel was part of my life for 19 years.
So this is the father of Rachel's oldest child, Matt McMahon, and they were together for 19 years.
But because she's the mother of my daughter and 4 other amazing children, all of whom I absolutely love. So I need to do it for me, for the children, for Rachel, and also to make sure that nobody else experiences what we experienced and what Rachel experienced.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how are the children doing tonight, Matt?
All the children are doing differently just because they're unique individuals. They're doing the best that they can. They're delighted to hear that the reward has been increased. The only thing that any of them really want is to have this suspect apprehended. So they understand that this might move that a little bit closer to reality. But they are struggling.
Well, yeah, it must be very, very difficult. So I'm just going to jump forward a little bit now to look at what the sister had to say. Now, I think you can, let me just see, find it. Where is it? Yeah, look, her eyes are very similar to
information at all. Pretty much what you know is what they've told me also.
I think, Rebecca, the doubling of the reward, though, is huge because money talks, sadly, to some of these people out there. And that could really make a difference.
Unfortunately, it does. And I'm really hoping that by doubling the reward, somebody who really does know something will come forward soon.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I want to ask you, because you've canvassed the area yourself. You've been out there repeatedly looking around, looking for clues. What have you noticed about that area, Matt? What stands out to you? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know both of you. I'll start with Matt, though. I'm curious because I know that you've spent some time out there, Matt.
Well, during our first canvassing, the one item that stuck out the most was a lack of the Spanish-speaking Hispanic community in knowing that anything had even happened including families that live just a couple hundred feet from the trail. We heard that a lot from several different.
Yeah, that's quite strange, isn't it? So a lot of these Spanish-speaking families didn't even know anything had happened, but they lived literally, just around the corner from where it had happened, and they weren't aware.
Different volunteers. That's one of the reasons we're handing out bilingual flyers, and that was also the catalyst for the digital campaign that Mr. Rice had launched for us.
Which it sounds like has been successful so far. A lot more tips have come in. Obviously, Rebecca, we're so focused on the search, the manhunt for this guy. We want to get all the little details out with that, but I don't want to lose focus of who you're.
Yeah. So this again, he's going back now to Rachel's sister Rebecca.
Sister was, and I want people to know I've talked to you guys before about this, but I just want people to remember how amazing she was. Tell us a little bit about Rachel, Rebecca.
Well, I can tell you that the thing that people noticed the most about her was her smile and her laugh. She had a great sense of humor. She was so much fun to be around. I would have to say our best memories were during the holidays. She was always the last one to show up when we all got together. But when she did show up, it got louder, it got warmer, it got brighter, and it got a whole lot funner.
And she was working on a book.
Yes, she was. She went through a lot of things in her life, and so she decided to start writing a book for young teen girls about developing good relationships and self-esteem.
Thank you for watching.
There you go. So that's it. Basically, that's the update's not. It is an update, but of course not the update that we're all hoping for, which is that this man gets identified and taken off the streets. Because every day that he's not been identified and he's still somewhere, what is he doing? Has he committed any other crimes either before all this or after? So we just don't know. So any other update that I get, I will let you know as soon as. I've been wanting to do this update for a couple of days, but it's all been, there's always so many videos to make and so much to say. And then every now and again I have to have a little break. So I'm hoping, if there are any other updates, especially over the weekend, because we're now into the weekend, I will definitely be back to tell you about them. So thank you so much. Remember to always live and love very wisely, very carefully. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.